And I love the analogy of like a drug dealer. Like when a drug dealer gets people hooked on something, the first hit is superb, right? It gets them hooked, it gets them coming back for more, so they actually get hooked and pay for it. The idea of giving a guide away sounds a little bit scary, but think about it, you're gonna reveal another problem that you have a solution for. In our industry, we use a lot of different tools. We have a lot of bespoke tools that we use to gauge a client. Let's give that away. If that gives you value, great. If you're not going to go to us because you can't afford us, you're not going to go to us anyway. But guess what? You realize how much work it is, and then you're going to go to us.
Yeah.
So that is the filter you should run through all your lead magnets. Welcome to the InboundBuzz podcast. You're listening to episode 147. My name is Moby Sadiq, and I'm finally joined again by Mr. Tony Cow.
It's been a minute.
Man, we got to edit in some like celebrations or something, man. It's been a long time, Tony.
It's good to be back, Mopes. And it's a new office. It's a new podcast room, man. It's amazing. Things are happening.
Yeah. We upgraded. We're out of our old office into a bigger office. And like the last few shows, like we've had Elena, we've had Tasha. It's been really, really good. But I've missed you, man. It's so good to have you back.
Thank you. I missed my spot too.
I'm glad. It has not been the same. I actually got you something. You don't know this. This is a surprise.
Really?
I got you some organic eggs.
Thank you. We're talking about this.
There we go. These are organic. That's why they look different. They all look like different shapes and sizes. But these, you'll have the best egg-based meal of your life. Fried, poached,
it's
soft
edible,
boiled.
right?
Of course, man.
Okay.
These are from my chickens from home. They finally started laying. And I don't have a baby gift for you, but these are technically not babies. So
kind of is in a way.
Yeah, you know what I mean? They're like baby eggs. So yeah. Awesome.
Thank you.
All
Moby's
good,
proud of his chicken coop farm. So
got 4 chickens. They're all firing now. We get like 20 eggs a week from 4 chickens. It's pretty amazing. But no, it's good to have you back, man.
Cool.
So let's get straight into it. We've got some cool ChatGPT news. I'll start with the first one. Image upload is available in ChatGPT. Now, this is pretty cool. So, Tony, you can see what's on my screen there. There is a funny, so if you're listening along, amazing, great. If you want to watch, see, my beautiful beard and Tony's handsome face, then definitely check out redpandas.com.au/EP147, and you can see the video version and anything I'm sharing on screen. But what I'm sharing essentially, Tony, is a photo of Tasha. So Christine, who's our head of HubSpot and an AI nut, AI whiz, right, Tony?
100%.
She's always tinkering and
a different level.
Yeah, so shout out to you, Christine. We love your stuff. We love your work. But she uploaded this thing. So use this example, right? She uploaded a photo of Tasha, got squiggles on it. So like dollar signs and like those, scribbled on sunglasses, a hat. And literally this is what you can do in ChatGPT now. She uploaded the image and asked ChatGPT, what makes this image funny? Now, at first, Tony and you and I were thinking about this, but then really quickly we thought, shit, man, the application is pretty crazy, right? So this particular example, all it's saying is, humor is a fascinating human experience and often subjective. However, based on the image, here's a breakdown of the potential humor elements, right? And talks about why it's funny, unexpected accessories, exaggeration, dollar signs everywhere, blah, blah, blah. So I got to thinking, so I asked Christine, I'm like, Christine, like, what are some of the applications, right? And then she's like, here are some of my examples. And we started thinking. So the first one I want to share is, those signs, those traffic signs, Tony?
Yeah.
It's like there's 4 or 5 different signs and they all contradict each other.
Yeah.
You don't know when to park. So I'm talking about the parking signs. A guy called Peter Yang, I'm sharing his tweet on the tweet X, whatever it's called now, on my screen. I will never get a parker ticking again. He's got like literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 different no parking signs stacked on top of each other. And he tells ChatGPT, it's Wednesday at 4 p.m. Can I park at this spot right now? Tell me in one line. ChatGPT says, yes, you can park for free. You can park up to 1 hour starting at 4 p.m.
It's crazy. So it interpreted all that and gave you an answer.
It processed all the information. Then we started thinking more. We're like, okay, what else can it do? So this was really cool, right? So Tony, explain the photo of her food, like what she did there.
So she took a photo of, I think, her lunch that day, Mopes.
Yeah, and she's in Hong Kong, by the way. So it was, I think, a restaurant somewhere.
Whatever they're eating, noodles. But I don't know what it is. and she interprets it and she goes, what's in this photo? And like, I'm a foodie, Moby. I should be able to pick up food just like that. I don't know what that is. And it breaks it down exactly what the food is. A bowl of udon, green vegetables, mushrooms. But not only that, I think she takes
further.
it one step further and she asks, what's the recipe?
This blew my mind. Because I actually was like, oh, Christine, like what about, because she did the food thing. I'm like, could you do a recipe? She's like, I'll give it a go. So she puts it in. It's like, so she goes back to the photo. Can you give me the recipe for everything in this photo? And it's like, certainly, udon noodles in broth, ingredients, instructions, vegetable tempura. That is insane, Tony. That's absolutely insane.
I feel like this is going to wipe out like recipe.com and all those, websites out there about food.
Dude, if you and I were creating a restaurant, we want to create the best Asian restaurant in Hornsby. Okay. We could just go to a bunch of restaurants. Like obviously you still need a chef, right? But we could literally go around taking photos of meals and then craft our own concoctions based on ChatGPT. That's insane.
Yeah. Hey, that's interesting, Mob. So if I go to a Asian restaurant and I don't know what that food is and I take a photo, it can interpret it and tell me what I'm ordering. The
That's
recipes,
true.
Food allergies.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, a lot of foods, in Sydney, it's pretty easy, but if I'm traveling and like I can only eat halal food, I could do that. I just thought about that too. I could take a photo, upload it. Now, it might not be perfect. And I don't know if you should rely on it if you're allergic to nuts or something, right? So there's please, we're not condoning using ChatGPT for that.
Waiver.
But the point is, it's going to be a lot more accurate than you or I could be. That's for goddamn sure.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be food, right? We can try heaps of stuff like what material your Nikes are. Is it real? Is it fake?
Yeah. Just at first you're like, okay, cool. This is great. It'll tell me why an image is funny. But interpreting information, giving you instructions, giving you directions, it's crazy. The next piece of news is also ChatGPT related and also courtesy of Christine. Dale 3, I think it sounds like a Pitbull song. Dale, I don't know, Dale 3, whatever, is now available as a ChatGPT plugin. So if you're familiar with Midjourney, Dale 3, it's one of those like image processing things, right? You can give a prompt, give an instruction, and it'll actually generate an image for you. Now, why I really like this, Tony, we've spoken about this on the show, how we love Midjourney, and we've actually banned stock photos because Midjourney is so evolved, you can actually create your own stock photos that like what, and I've spoken about this before, but I have to talk about this with you, Tony, because it's been so long, dude.
Yeah.
Like imagine you can say, give me a Caucasian man dressed in a suit on top of a castle or something. That man has never existed. Like maybe it has. Actually, I don't know how they come up with it, but there's a chance that that man has never been born, but AI has just created that face. Like, amazing. Isn't that amazing? Yeah. It blows the mind.
100%. Like all the copyright things out the door. We're not worrying about any violations or anything. Yeah, it's new footage that no one has seen. That's great for ads.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I'm sure AI will get in trouble one day because it probably ripped off someone's face, but you're right. Like it's a lot less copyright than anything else would be.
Yeah.
But this is really, really cool. So again, I went off topic for a sec, but the point is Dale 3, it's like one of those tools, right? Like Midjourney. Now, what you can do is actually, and I'm sharing my screen here, and Christine asks ChatGPT using the Dale 3 plugin, I'd like to create some cyberpunk red panda images. And it literally says, and I love this, it not only gives the images, but it actually gives a description. Here are four diverse and detailed descriptions for cyberpunk-themed red panda images: rooftop runner, tech guru, streetwise survivor, and marketplace maven. Now, these I've run a similar query before in Midjourney. I've literally run that before, red panda in cyberpunk, whatever, right? This is really comparable to that. But you were actually saying like it's actually maybe even better.
Yeah, the graphics look a lot better. Like, and look, Midjourney is still great, but just looking at this, I feel like maybe there's been a bit of improvement. And like, wow, like just looking at the graphics on the neon lights and stuff, it just looks amazing. Like,
why I love this is it's one of those things when AI tools started coming out, like, oh my God, I got to pay for Midjourney, I got to pay for ChatGPT. Just pay for ChatGPT.
Yeah.
The plugins mean you don't need to get all this other stuff anymore. Chances are there's a plugin for you. There's code interpreters, there's a whole bunch of stuff.
Interesting point that we'll probably cancel our Midjourney and just move to Dale.
maybe it's like another thing we've got to test. But
Yeah.
What's the last one?
Meta proposes $14 per month charge for ad-free Facebook. I don't know what Meta's thinking about. Like, I barely use Facebook. I'm pretty sure people are dropping out and they want to charge me $14 to use Facebook.
I mean, see, you're saying that you don't even do that for YouTube. Now, I do, but I'm actually thinking about, so I pay for the YouTube Premium so I don't see ads because we do a lot of YouTube on our screen. But now I'm thinking of getting rid of it because I actually want to see some ads, like being in our industry. But you're right, Tony. Like Facebook, like do they need more reasons for people to stop using it?
Yeah, exactly. Good point.
Like, isn't it going to turn people off? Like, so you can still use it with ads, but I don't know. I just feel like it's a cash grab. I don't really think that's really going to stop people, from there's not enough value there. Yeah, that's all.
I feel like the pain point isn't big enough. Like you say, the value isn't there. Secondly, it's actually raising a concern that, people are concerned about ads on Facebook. And that's another discussion to talk about, right? So the ads coming to Facebook, a lot of people hate Facebook ads. Maybe it's not the ads that's the problem. Maybe it's the platform.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? It's from one point of view, I don't think a lot of take up will happen. But from another point of view, people who don't want to do it, they just won't pay for it and they'll just leave it as is. But it might actually make people realize, oh my God, like look at all these ads that I didn't notice before. But it's not going to solve their problems. We know that much.
Our next section, featured buzz, how to fix your sucky lead magnet. I love that topic.
So there's a book you and I are reading right now. We're having a lot of fun with this by Alex Hormozi. It's called $100 Million Leads. It's actually volume 2. His other book was, do you remember his first book?
Yeah, $100 million
Offers. So this is sort of part 2. Great book. We highly, highly recommend it. We've been doing this for years. Tony's been doing this for a lot longer than me. And even you were pretty impressed with the concepts. And I think it's because they're just really simple. He dumbs it down. He by the way, he uses a lot of storytelling.
Yeah.
Which is a great reminder. We talk about storytelling and how it's the easiest way to portray a message. So, Alex Hormozi definitely follows that school of thought. But we want to talk about 4 ways on how to fix your sucky lead magnet. Because the thing is, it's not that lead magnets don't work. It's that they're just not valuable enough. And the first concept we want to talk about is actually figure out the problem you want to solve. It sounds obvious, but it's not. So what Alex talks about is think about the problem solution cycle, right? Every solution reveals more problems. So what you have to do is pick a narrowly defined problem and make sure your core offer can solve the next problem that comes up. So for example, say we created a calculator. Obviously we sell HubSpot and we created a calculator that tells you how much money you could save from switching from Salesforce to HubSpot. You punch in what you've paid for in Salesforce or the add-ons you've got, and it spits you out a figure. Now, it's solving a problem, it's giving you a solution, but it's giving you another problem. Now you need to buy bloody HubSpot because you could save $10,000 a year. Now, what solves that? Your core offer. So essentially what we find that one of the biggest problems, and tell me if you agree here, Tony, we find that people don't narrow the problem enough and they either have to pick a lead magnet. So here's a lead magnet like this calculator, or you could, promote your core offer. But first you have to narrow down your problem.
I love that because if you look on the internet, too many websites have these so-called lead magnets that don't solve a problem. It's maybe a brochure about information to an industry, just a bit of data, statistics. That doesn't solve anyone's problem. So,
it's too generic.
Yeah.
I saw one the other day, how to redefine your sales strategy or something. It's just too broad. You can't just have something like how to overhaul your sales strategy, maybe how to nail discovery calls, how to pitch, how to get customers to come back to you. A narrow problem that you solve. And in theory, it should follow the problem solution cycle. So it gives you a solution, but it reveals another problem. Maybe you give them another lead magnet, or of course you promote your paid services.
It's kind of like what Moby says is like a drug dealer.
Yeah. We'll get to that because I want to talk about that for the final point. But what was the second thing, Tony? What's the...
So how do you figure out how to solve the problems? And you can do that with different types of lead magnets, right? In the book, it reveals 3 types. First of all, you reveal a problem. That's one type of a lead magnet. You got a free trial. And the third one is a free step 1 of X. So just for multiple steps. And they're interesting is because I've seen them work in the past, and yeah, those styles work a lot. Like you look at review a problem where, it could be anything like a website, like you want to check out your problem on your website, or like your internet speed. You go onto internet and you see what like how fast your internet is. It's helping you
audits.
An audit.
Yeah, things like that.
Also, free trials are good. There was a point in time where a lot of softwares kept offering free trials. If you notice, a lot of software companies do that. Have a 3-month free trial because they know they can hook you in a second, third, a year.
Netflix, Disney Plus. Oh yeah, they do it too. Yeah, of course.
Free step of 1 of X is an interesting one, and you probably know more about that than me. But it's basically you have like multiple things to achieve to solve a problem, and you reveal the first step that will help them. But in order to get them hooked onto the second, third, and fourth step of the problem.
Yeah, I was thinking about this because every time we read books like this, or when you and I strategize, I'm always thinking about our clients. And one of our clients and long-term partners of our business, Upplers. So shout out to my friends at Upplers in India, international-based business. So for example, like say they were doing something, right? Now they help you hire, onboard. They also have a platform. So the Upplers is a platform where you can actually find offshore staff. It's like Fiverr or Upwork, but on steroids. They vet their people better and whatever. Yeah. So they have that business. But then they have another business called Mavelers where you can get dedicated staff, for SEO or whatever. Anyway, so I was thinking about those guys. Like they could have step 1 of X, like how to hire the right offshore Indian talent, right? So how to actually hire them, how to find them. But what comes after hiring? Onboarding, right? So step 1 is how to hire, and this is the thing, it has to be so good, which I'm going to talk about in a second. It has to be a really, really good piece of content. There's step 1. But now you still have another problem. Now, how are you going to onboard them? How are you going to retain them? How are you going to motivate them? So you reveal one step, but the other steps, hey, if you're interested on how to do this with a professional, then speak to Upplers or speak to Mavelers. But yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so now we have the type of lead magnets. The next step is to figure out how to deliver it. And in this world, there's multiple ways, right? But in the book, I like it. It talks about there's 4 ways: software, information, like courses, keynotes, webinars, very effective, services, and physical products. And we've seen them, from like books to whatever it is. But you got an interesting point about software, Salesforce versus a HubSpot cost.
Yeah, so I thought we could talk about an example. Like what I love that Ali Hormozi talks about. And I must admit, like we've got some really good ones and we've done some good ones for clients. But he's like, think of your lead magnet and do it in another way. It becomes another lead magnet. So for example, like you're saying, we could have that example I was talking about, like for the software category, Salesforce versus HubSpot cost calculator. But then take that same lead magnet and then use the other category, which is information. So Salesforce to HubSpot migration course, an online course or a webinar or something, right? Becomes something entirely different, attracts an entirely different audience. And it might be a good way to extend the life of that first lead magnet if it's getting stale. Third one, services, free Salesforce to HubSpot audit, where we'll audit you for free, your tech stack and whatever. And then finally, physical product. Now, of course, physical products work better for e-com and beauty products. But even in this example, you could have like a chart, Salesforce to HubSpot, my project milestone chart, whatever.
Yeah, interesting. I like that. So it's like, even though there's 4 ways, it's kind of targeting different parts of the industry, right? Different niches, different channels. It's very interesting how Hormozi talks about it.
Different funnels. And it's still good enough that even if someone, that's why I love this, it's not repetitive. Someone could download the tool, but then still go to your webinar. You know what I mean? Or still watch your course. So I think or still get the chart. It's great.
Yeah. And our next point is...
This one is one of my favorites. And we touched on this a little bit before, right? But I can't stress, this is honestly my favorite. If you do this one thing right, your lead magnet effectiveness will freaking skyrocket. And that is make it so good that you would actually charge for it. Yeah. And like, we freaking mean this, right, Tony? That you would actually charge for it. And I love the analogy of like a drug dealer, Be like a drug dealer. When a drug dealer gets people hooked on something, the first hit is superb, right? It gets them hooked. It gets them coming back for more, so they actually get hooked and pay for it. That's the way you've got to think about it, right? So like I said, you might be, say your Mavelers or Upplers, the idea of giving a guide away sounds a little bit scary, but think about it. You're going to reveal another problem that you have a solution for. In our industry, we use a lot of different tools. We have a lot of bespoke tools that we use to gauge a client, right? Or audit a client.
Yeah.
Let's give that away. If that gives you value, great. If you're not going to go to us because you can't afford us, you're not going to go to us anyway. But guess what? You realize how much work it is, and then you're going to go to us.
Yeah.
So that is the filter you should run through all your lead magnets. Could we actually freaking charge for this?
Yeah.
Does it hit the problem solution cycle? Am I maximizing all the ways I could do it? You do those things and you're onto a winner.
I love it because you've all said offer a offer that it's so good they would be stupid to refuse. And I remember you saying that, but Hermosi's like on steroids.
I must have stole that from him, but
okay.
Yeah, because he says that.
Yeah, but he's saying now make it good that you charge money for it. That's like taking it to another level.
Yeah, it's such a simple concept, but I'm like, yeah, man, that's the filter we've got to use.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it for episode 147. Man, it's been great coming back, Mobes.
Man, it's been a long time coming. It's gone really, really quick. So I'm glad to have you back. And guys, there is still a little bit of time left. I don't know when you're going to listen to this, but we do have our digital marketing, our sales and marketing conference on October 31st at Sydney Olympic Park. I have said this on previous shows. If you're a listener and you're in another country, because I know we do have those, email me moby@redpandas.com.au and I'll give you the recording for free if you can't make it to this country. If you're in this country, you should come because it'll be the best one-day investment of your
Marcus
life.
Sheridan will be speaking, Moby will be speaking, and a few others will be speaking. It's going to be explosive.
It's going to be bananas. Amazing. Cool. Thanks, team. We will join you again for another episode of InboundBuzz.
Thanks for listening to InboundBuzz. Learn anything? Return the favor by spreading the word. Want to make your mark in digital? Need help with your digital strategy, inbound, and marketing automation efforts? Then visit redpandas.com.au and be sure to tune in next time for another InboundBuzz hit.